The old house groaned with the wind, a low, mournful sound that echoed the thunder rolling across the valley. I'd always loved storms, the raw power of them, but tonight a strange unease prickled my skin. Why tonight? I wondered. Why does it feel so wrong? The power had flickered and died an hour ago, leaving me alone in the flickering candlelight. I'd tried to read, but the shadows danced too wildly, twisting familiar shapes into monstrous figures. Just the old house, just the storm, I repeated to myself, but the words felt hollow. I had bought this place a few weeks ago, a rambling Victorian manor at the edge of a small village. It was a bit of a fixer-upper, to put it mildly, but I loved the old bones of the house, the potential it held. Maybe I was a bit too eager to get started, I thought as I glanced around the dimly lit living room. The furniture was draped in dust sheets, the floorboards bare, and the air thick with the smell of damp and decay. Still, it was a steal for the price. A sudden violent gust rattled the windows, and a branch scraped against the glass, making me jump. Gods, calm down, I thought, my heart pounding. I told myself it was just the storm, just the old house settling, but the feeling of being watched intensified. I rose, clutching the candle, and moved through the darkened rooms, checking the locks, peering into the inky blackness beyond the windows. Nothing, just shadows and the remnants of someone else's life. In the dim light, I could make out faded wallpaper, the ghostly outlines of picture frames, and the faint impression of furniture long gone. Everything seemed normal, or as normal as it could be in a house this old, during a storm this fierce. I returned to the living room, the candle casting long, distorted shadows that stretched and shrank with every flicker. I settled back into my armchair, one of the few pieces of furniture I'd brought with me, trying to ignore the creeping dread, but the silence was thick, broken only by the wind and the distant rumble of thunder. Just nerves, I told myself. Just nerves and an overactive imagination. Then I heard it, a soft, almost imperceptible scratching sound coming from somewhere in the room. A mouse? Please let it be a mouse. I held my breath, listening intently, but the sound was gone. I told myself it was just a mouse or a loose floorboard, but the feeling of being watched was now a tangible weight on my chest. Something's wrong. Something's terribly wrong. The scratching sound returned, closer this time, and I realized it was coming from beneath the old, worn rug. I slowly rose, the candle trembling in my hand, and knelt beside the rug. With a deep breath, I lifted a corner, revealing the dusty floorboards beneath. And then I saw it, a pair of eyes gleaming in the dim light, staring back at me from the darkness beneath the floor. Not the small, beady eyes of a mouse, but large human eyes, filled with a cold, malevolent intelligence. No, this can't be real. A hand, pale and thin, reached out from the darkness, the fingernails long and sharp, like claws, almost bone-like. The skin was stretched taut, revealing the faint bluish lines of veins beneath. A low, guttural growl emanated from the darkness, a sound that seemed to vibrate in my very bones. I scrambled back, knocking over the candle, plunging the room into darkness. Run! Panic seized me, and I stumbled towards the door, my heart pounding in my chest. I fumbled for the doorknob, my hands shaking, and finally managed to turn it. I burst out into the hallway, slamming the door behind me, and leaned against it, gasping for breath. It's in the house. It's in the house with me. But the growling continued, louder now, and I heard the sound of something heavy scraping against the floorboards. I turned and fled down the hallway towards the stairs, the darkness pressing in around me. Upstairs. Lock the door. I reached the stairs and began to climb, my feet slipping on the worn carpet. I heard the sound of the door bursting open behind me and the heavy thumping of footsteps on the stairs. It's coming. I didn't dare look back. I just kept climbing, my lungs burning, my legs aching. I reached the top of the stairs and ran towards my bedroom, the only room with a lock. I slammed the door shut and fumbled for the lock, my hands shaking so badly I could barely turn the key. "Hurry, hurry." I heard the footsteps reach the top of the stairs and then a heavy pounding on my bedroom door. I pressed my back against the door, trying to hold it shut, but the pounding grew more violent, the wood splintering. It's going to break through. I knew the door wouldn't hold for long. I looked around the room, desperately searching for a weapon, but there was nothing. Just my bed, my dresser, and the window. No escape. The door burst open, and a figure lunged into the room, silhouetted against the darkness of the hallway. It was tall, impossibly thin, its limbs elongated and distorted. I could see the glint of those eyes, even in the darkness, and the long, sharp nails that seemed to scrape against the floor as it moved. Its head was tilted at an unnatural angle, and a faint, sickly sweet smell wafted from it, like rotting flowers. I screamed, a sound that was cut short, and then everything went black. The next morning, the sun streamed through the bedroom window. The storm had passed, leaving behind a clear, bright day. I sat up in bed, my head throbbing, my body aching. The bedroom door was intact. The rug in the living room lay flat, undisturbed. Was it a dream? I wondered, running a hand over my forehead. A small, almost imperceptible scratch, fresh and bleeding, ran along my forearm. Downstairs, a floorboard creaked, a sound that echoed through the silent house. I had bought this old house with the intention of renovating it, turning it into a cozy, modern home. Now, standing in the hallway, the morning sun revealing the peeling paint and cobwebs, I wondered if I had made a terrible mistake.